We are now joined by third-year Concord head coach Dave Walker. Coach, can you give us an opening statement on the Mount Lions in 2022?
Sure. You guys hear me okay?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
First of all, to say, thank you guys for having me today. It's an honor and privilege to be here representing Concord University. First of all, you said third-year coach, but with COVID and everything that's went on, it feels like I'm still in my rookie campaign, everything that we've had to deal with. But hopefully that stuff is behind us somewhat. But you never know. Last year I felt like we were competitive, and we felt like we ended the season on a high note, and it gave us something to build on. So we're excited to be back here on campus, be in camp. Our guys have been working hard, as everyone is, and there's a lot of positive optimism and a lot of guys that really worked hard and looking forward to getting the season going. So we're excited to where we're at, and we feel pretty good about the future and possibilities that lay out there for us.
If anyone has any questions, use the raise hand function. Now it's time to ask. Go ahead, Josh.
Hey, Coach. Josh Widman with WVVA in Bluefield. I guess my first question is kind of a two-parter. What are some strengths that this team has going into this season, and what are you guys most focused on so far?
I think some of our strengths on offensively is obviously our quarterback is back, who led the conference in passing last year, Jack Mangle, and we feel like we have a really good receiving core, and we have some returners coming back there with Gerard and Zion, and then some newcomers. So we feel like that our passing game is going to be strong. We hope so. And then we've added some running backs. We got Chris Copeland back, who started at running back for us last year, had a really good year. And we've added some guys on that position as well that are all of them are going to get reps. So the offensive side, we feel pretty good about our skill guys. And we do return 4 starters back on our offensive line. So those guys have been working hard, and hopefully it'll pay off for them on Saturdays. Defensively, we have a lot of experience back on that side of the ball. I think it's an older group, a lot of older guys. So I think experience will be a strength there. I mean, right now, our area of concern for me, as always, is probably just staying healthy. We want to stay healthy. Depth is always an issue at any level, so we want to try to stay healthy, getting into that first game. So, but other than that, I mean, things have been going pretty well. Our guys are doing what's been asked of them, and we're pretty excited about what we're doing right now.
Anyone with questions, use the raise hand function. Coach, you had to replace an All-American receiver this year. Talk about the wide receiver room at Concord right now.
Well, right now, we did. We lost Taiwan, and he had an outstanding year for us. And, we were bit with the injury bug a little bit last year, so we've got some of those guys back. Gerard Bowie is a guy that really was going to have a really breakout year and got injured early in the season. So he's back. Zion Barnett is another young man that transitioned from defense to offense mid-year last year and ended up having a really good year till he was injured. So we have him back. So those guys are back. And then we've got some new guys that came in. Solomon Butler is one guy, Max Simmons. So we feel pretty good. We got some depth at the receiver position. We brought in, we had a couple of really good high school guys and some transfer guys. So we feel like Jack has some guys to get, to throw the ball to. We're just going to be able to add a running game in there, and obviously we have to be solid up front.
Jonathan?
Yeah, Coach, you returned 4 of your top 6 tacklers from a season ago on the defensive side. Can you give us a preview of that side of the ball and kind of who's emerged as a leader?
Well, I think that those guys coming back, it's going to be very similar to what the last part of the year. I thought we really got better on that side of the ball, but we still were lacking in some areas. So I'm excited about those guys, having those guys back, like you say, and we've bolstered our defensive front a little bit. So we feel like we've got some guys there. But guys like Ty Most and Tylen Fowler are 2 linebackers that played all year and did a great job. Dejor Davenport's an edge rusher that had a really, really good year for us last year and is back. And Rashad Lucene is another young man that is back for his last year. And we feel like with the experience we have and then some of the new pieces we put around him, I feel like if we stay healthy, I think we got a shot to be, really, really good on that side of the ball. But again, it's about, just getting out every day and competing and making sure you're not breaking assignments. I mean, everybody's got really good players. So it's just, it's for our position or our job to get them in a position where they can be successful.
Go ahead, Josh.
Coach, what does this team have to do, or what adjustments have you guys made since last season in order to improve this season?
I think one of the things that I've been really focused on, and it's not so much an X's and O's or physical ability thing. It's just being able to overcome adversity. I mean, last year, our goal when we got here a couple of years ago, obviously, was to try to get this thing headed in the right direction. I feel like last year we took a big step being competitive. And, you have to be competitive before you can be successful. And I feel like, we were in some really close games that could have went either way, and it did. And I think this year our focus has been more about overcoming adversity. We're going to be in a lot of close games. We feel like we're going to be in the same situation. We've got to be able to finish games and be able to just play the next play and not look at our mistakes and just try to overcome adversity and be better every snap that we can. And I think once we get in the mindset that we're going to do those things, then I think that's a lot of the battle. I think we do have some talented guys. At least we look the part. We passed the eye test. So I think it's just a matter of us getting in the right frame of mind and being coachable and doing the things we need to do to be successful on Saturdays and finish the game and play 4 complete quarters instead of playing 3, or 3.5 like we did last year times.
Coach, you were 3-3 in games decided by 4 points or less. Will experience, or is there anything else that you think that will help sway those games in your direction maybe this year?
Well, I think you have to get better physically and mentally. I think last year in those games, we were 3-3, but we could have been 0-6, or we could have been 6-0 in those games. So sometimes we got it done and sometimes we didn't. So I think just being mentally, we've got to put our guys in situations to get them, so they can handle adversity in games and put them in situations that they're not comfortable in so they can get comfortable. So I think that's part of the big, the big equation when you try to put all these pieces together, is making sure guys react the right way and that they're doing the things they need to do, because there's so many really good players out there and everybody's got good players. So you have to go out and make sure you minimize your mistakes. And a lot of those, and most of those, are mental mistakes, and we've got to try to eliminate those.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Josh.
Coach, last question I have for you. 7th in the preseason poll. Any kind of reaction to that this morning?
No, not really. I mean, those teams all those teams on there are good, and I think they pretty much go off of what happened last year. So we're probably right where we need to be at this point in the season. Right now we've not done anything to be rated any higher, and maybe not done anything to be rated any lower. So again, I mean, I know it's coach's cliche, but I don't really pay much attention to the polls. It don't matter where we're rated now; it's where we're rated at the end of the year. So we'll look back in 3 months and see where we're at.
Any other questions? All right, thanks, Coach. We appreciate you joining us this afternoon. Good luck this season.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.